The fishing news is brought to you by Interlux Marine Paint, Fanatics of Ocean City, Maxima Fishing Line, and Okuma.
I'm Jim Hutchinson with the New Jersey Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine. Got away for a couple of days here in Baltimore, Maryland for a Yamaha fishing event. I needed a little bit of local intel, so I found my way over here to Tochterman's Fishing Tackle in Baltimore. It's got to be one of the oldest tackle shops, if not the oldest tackle shop in the United States, celebrating 100 years here at this very same location in Baltimore, Maryland. If you get yourself down here to the Inner Harbor, you're looking at the aquarium, or doing something down here in Baltimore sometime, you got to come out and check out Tochterman's. A lot of history here and a lot of great fishing tackle. Probably one of the biggest you've seen in some time. Now, I bring this to you as well because if you're looking at the Fisherman magazine the last couple of weeks and continuing through the rest of the year, you're going to find expanded coverage from the Chesapeake region every week in the Fisherman magazine. Brought to you by Eric Burnley. We're going to cover more Susquehanna Flats, down to Tillman Island, all the way down to the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel as those cobia start getting biting as well. So continue to look to the Fisherman magazine for all the reports from Staten Island and Raritan Bay on down to Delaware Bay and the Chesapeake as well. A few years ago, I remember fishing for black drum down here in the Chesapeake, a little farther south of here, with Chris Dollar. It was very interesting because one of the ways that we fish for black drum is looking at the fish finder, looking for those big red balloons on those drum on the fish finder. As soon as you found them along the stone beds, the rock beds, some of that rocky outcropping along the Chesapeake, we would drop a shedder crab, already baited, a shedder, or they call them peeler crabs as well, drop them right on the head. Once you get one of those black drum, the fleet is all over you, because once you find one, you're probably going to find a bunch of them. And that's important to say because more and more of these black drum are starting to spread out all over the region. Of course, the Delaware Bay bite has been phenomenal along the Brigantine beaches as well. But this comes in from 12-year-old Cooper, who is fishing up in Sandy Hook along the west bank, dragging a parachute rig above beyond all other things. Dragging a parachute rig and hit up with an 80-pound black drum there in Sandy Hook. Now, this is about the biggest black drum that I've heard of in the entire state of New Jersey and in Delaware this season, but there it was, dragging wire. Now, as this drumming eventually comes to a close in the next couple of weeks or so, it gives way to some more of those summer options. You try to figure out whether you're going to go fluking or chase down those striped bass. Well, John Howell checked in with Lacey Marine this week, and he did a little bit of both. Caught a 6-pound fluke, and also a 38-pound striper along the Ocean County beaches. Now that striper run along Ocean County, along the central Jersey coast, up into Monmouth County, that continues. As more of those stripers are piling on bunker, we're hoping that bite will continue through the rest of this month all the way into July. Jimmy Frieda checked in last week, let me know that they released a 48-pounder that they caught around one of those bunker schools while throwing a plug. And that's a good sign. One of the biggest stripers we heard of this week was actually along the south shore of Long Island. Joe Mineo broke the Tony Maja weight record with a 61.42-pound fish. That was a South Shore Long Island on a number 4 multicolored Maja spoon. So make sure when you're heading out there and looking for bunker schools, you've got your cast net, you've got your snag rigs, but don't forget the stretches. Don't forget the Mojos, the Rapala X-Wraps, and of course your wireline trolling outfit with those Maja spoons. Continue to look for those fish. Now the fluke action is finally heating up throughout the state of New Jersey. We're getting more and more good reports of fish finally starting to bite both in the surf and in the back bay. Lee from Vineland here, he had his first doormat of the season from down in South Jersey, an 11-pounder that was weighed in at Sea Isle Bait and Tackle. So more of those big fish are finally starting to wake up, it seems, a little bit in the back. Of course, the Cape May Weakfish bite continues. 4-man limit for Ray Baldassari and his kids, Christian, Alex, and Robbie. They checked in with Off the Hook Bait and Tackle. By the way, congrats to Bill Collins of New Jersey for moving up in the Dreamboat category. He's actually taken the #1 weakfish position in our annual Dreamboat contest. Again, this is another one of those Avalon hodgepodge fish, a 10.66 Tide Runner weakfish. It seems as if Avalon is sea trout central right now. There are some blues around still as well to complete that inshore grand slam, if you will. Captain Alex Majewski of Lighthouse Sport Fishing put Ryan Fairley on the blues over the weekend, and Alex tells me that there's more of those 10-pound and plus bluefish around. You might have to work a little bit harder to find them, but those gators are around. You might not want to bring the gators home to eat, but they sure make a great shark bait, and the great shark bait is great for this time of year. Congratulations to the crew of El Cid for their monster 360-pound Mako that they weighed in at the South Jersey Shark Tournament this past weekend. Of course, you know, Mako Mania was postponed because of the weather last weekend. It's going to go on this weekend. Even though it was that we didn't have the contest on Saturday, still got out with Captain Alan Lee and crew of Mushin. About 50 miles east of Manasquan. We hooked up into a Mako shark just under 300 pounds. And I got to tell you, getting beat up on the way home, even on that 44 Enriques. I'm sure it was, you can all agree, it was a good decision to postpone that shark tournament for last weekend. Now, as far as our next offshore arrivals, we're getting some good reports from the Southern Canyons. Fish Whisperer out of Indian River Inlet was out at the Washington just the other day, had 14 yellowfin and some mahi, also released a blue marlin. That's according to Hook'em and Cook'em down there in Indian River Inlet. So we are having more of these pelagics are starting to come up, and more folks hitting the canyon in search of some of those tuna, billfish, and of course the makos and threshers. For more weekly reports from throughout the region, from Staten Island and Raritan Bay all the way down to Delaware, and of course along the Chesapeake, make sure you pick up the Fisherman magazine. You subscribers, you're getting that weekly copy. The June edition is on newsstands. Check in with the folks at Tochterman's here if you're looking for the June edition. And of course, our July edition is just around the corner. We'll check in with you again next week. But until then, catch them up, my friends. We'll see you at thefisherman.com.
The Fishing News is brought to you by Interlux Marine Paint, Fanatics of Ocean City, Maxima Fishing Line, and Okuma.